My brother and his girlfriend threatened to sue me if I don't give them half of my money. Now, they are drowning in debt. When my brother was 16 and I was 4, my grandmother set aside a portfolio for us to share. As soon as we were old enough, it was transferred into our accounts, and it was only 4 years later that my brother dipped heavily into his and bought a new Honda. I knew about mine for much longer than he did before it became mine, and watched it grow since I understood what it was. By the time I was given complete control, it was already worth a ridiculous amount, because a significant portion of it was invested in Apple, and I'm torn on using the funds locked up as they are, because Dad drilled it into me to leave it to grow until I'm 40. I don't talk much with my brother. He's done some stupid things to the family over the years, and I didn't grow up with him, so all I usually hear about his life comes from Dad. His new girlfriend works in law though, and I've received a formal letter from them that my grandmother's investments were designed for us to use, not just for me alone, and he was only around $15,000. The number is correct, but mine was only worth that when he spent it. They want half of the value of now, and his girlfriend has informed me that if I don't give them access, the legal fees and fines would eat up my half, and I'd be left with nothing. The dividends alone support a considerable part of my life, and they've saved me a few times. If half of that disappeared, it'd set me back years. I know it sounds selfish, but I'm used to having the extra income to back me up when I want to move. I've lived in 4 states by my own choice, and want to move and take in more before I settle down if I ever do. So, I worked with my dad and got my lawyer. What my brother and I inherited from my grandmother was originally part of my grandfather's portfolio. He was the money-savvy one. My grandmother looked after those after he died, and she set up my brother's accounts and gave him control of his part. She didn't do the same with mine before she died. Instead, the shares were in her will, and she left everything she owned to my dad with the instruction that what was $15,000 worth when my brother got his equivalent part would go to me when I was old enough to know how to take care of them. There was no trust. She just trusted my dad. My dad did the right thing, set up accounts for me, and gave me control 6 years ago. My dad also put some of his shares in as an extra leg up. Dad admitted to me he'd chewed out my brother last year when he came to him asking for money, and Dad had supported him several times over the years and got to the point where he'd had enough. My brother found out I still had my investments because Dad had used me as an example of how my brother should have been using money. That's how my brother discovered I still had shares, and they'd grown. According to all that info, my lawyer tells me I'm in the clear, but it won't get to the point of finding that out in court, as my brother's girlfriend was only a legal secretary. I say it because the firm she worked for apologized and informed my lawyer she was terminated immediately. The letter I received from them had been edited to put her name in a higher position than it should have been, and some of the contact information had been changed. My brother visited me a week after she was fired, begging for money. His girlfriend is in serious debt, and she took a chance to scam cash from me and lost. I felt awful rejecting my brother repeatedly, and if he hadn't involved his girlfriend, I might have given him some.